And I think we've always loved elephants. We've been filming wildlife for 30 years, but we've never really felt that we had something special to say about them. And it's been seeing this in a sort of slow accumulation of experiences over the years. And then we experienced a really bad drought a few years ago. And that was when we focused on elephants for the first time. And it was coming out of that and thinking, great, these elephants are so sentient. I mean, they are just extraordinary creatures. They're so like us. And that was what really propelled us to tell this story.
You can read into elephants. They are so like us that when you watch them and you watch the way, say, a mother's using her trunk, it's almost like a mother using her hand. And so a lot can go unsaid. And when watching a film or telling a story like that, you can read into them. So they were sort of perfect lead characters, but also so many of the other animals depend on them. So they're like the center of life. They create the water holes. The other animals rely on them. And so story-wise, they are the center of the circle of life.
All that came from spending 4 years, literally 4 years filming in the field. And when it wasn't like we'd go there for the odd shoot and then pull out. We were there every day, living in camp. And it was just, you know, if you're there for that long, you experience these serendipitous moments. And I think that's what really gives the film its heart. We plan the shots as much as we can, but with wildlife, obviously, you can't plan everything. But then I think we're quite disciplined.
We're economical
when it comes to shooting. So it's not like we came from a video background. You know, we switch off every time we finished a shot. We recompose, we reframe, and off we go again.
And also, because I'm editing in the field, I'm constantly in his ear saying, "Don't give me any more. Just, you're going to drown me." You know, you can lose yourself if you just randomly shoot for 4 years. Imagine we probably have taken 40 years to make the film. Whereas the skill is really in knowing what are going to be the pertinent moments and then filming around them and then having the patience and the interest to wait and watch to discover what will be the next thing that will help to build the story.
I mean, we went into this knowing that we wanted to make a story based on a strong female lead. But it took us a long time to find that character, probably 18 months in the field, before one day we came back into camp and there was this beautiful herd of elephants resting in the shade of a tree, and they just had a baby. And when we saw the matriarch, who had these beautiful tusks, I mean, unlike any other female elephant we saw, we knew that essentially she was auditioning for the part. And that we stayed with her, and she became our lead character.
But I like to think of it almost that she found us, and then suddenly one day you're back in camp, and Mzee Msili, as we call the guy who sort of runs the camp, he suddenly says, "Come and have a look," and there she was.
I mean, the thing about elephants is that they are these extraordinary creatures, and they're being killed for their tusks faster than they can reproduce. So if we're not careful, within the next generation, we'll see the last of the elephants in the wild. And so for us, this is what drives our whole narrative. But we don't say it overtly, but it's always there in the subtext. And we're losing something like 30,000 elephants a year, and we just can't sustain that. So the whole drive of the film was to make people fall in love with elephants, to realize just how extraordinary they are, how extraordinary their family life is, and through that connect with them in a way that people haven't for quite a while perhaps, and through that connection, care, and come to love them, and then want to do something about them.